The following is a special presentation of TV 69 Sports. This is Taylor County High School Playoff Football Vlogs and your host, Bill Gunner. It's brought to you by Foodland. We know what you like at Foodland in Perry Square Shopping Center, and by Perry Pepsi-Cola, your total beverage dealer here in Waters & Company, Hudson's Electronics, Moyer Chiropractic Center, Judy's 14-Karat Gold, and Malden's Collision Club.
The upcoming game against Trinity Christian right after these commercial messages.
Bill Wright and all the gang at Pepsi-Cola in Perry would like to congratulate the Taylor County High School Bulldogs, the Class 3A District 3 champions.
Perry down around their 20-yard line gave us a big break that we needed. You could tell during warm-ups they already were tentative and not sure what they were getting into. We've been talking about how big and physical we were, and we felt like that would be an advantage for us. We sort of went into a lapse period where we didn't play very well, didn't come off the ball as hard as we had been, and that's just something we've got to learn to do in the playoffs. We've got to learn to play 48 minutes. We won't be able to beat some of these teams we might play this week or next week. If in the third quarter and the last 4 ball games, I know when we received a kickoff the second half, we drove down and scored. This
Station manager Hudson Randall looked at me at a break after we scored our 21st point, and he said, well, Bill, I told him before the game started, I said, I'm a little tight with this game because, Jacksonville Bowl is a very disciplined ball club, and they've got a lot of monetary support, I will say, over in that program, and they can reach out and on this Corky Rogers Coke team. And I said, he'll put some points on the board, and sure enough, they come back and made a game of it. But that one to me wasn't a penalty. He was committed to that hit. Now, I may be wrong with it, but he was committed to it when he hit him.
The penalty I was talking about was one that they called on Gary McNeely. I happened to be looking directly at the play. It was on the punt when the ball was still alive and rolling on the ground. And Gary, what happened, because it was a live ball and they had not touched the ball yet, they got a 15-yard penalty out of it and made a first down by a yard. We had them in 4th and 14. They ended up going 77 yards on that drive. You always expect to get, along with better play from your team, better officiating also.
Well, you look at this point this late in the season and you think, well, this is the best officials that we've got out of this district. These are the better ones. The more games go on, supposedly you get the best officials. We throw a penalty, and Bill Wright and I we disagreed with the officiating this day, but pretty hard-fought ball game. When we decided to go back out there in that later stages of the third quarter and said, hey, look, let's play some Bulldog football, and play Bulldog football, Bowles was out of it from that point on.
Yeah, about I can really remember them showing leadership by going out and doing something. You like to have that rah-rah and hoo-hoo stuff going on, but it's just not very good when you're out on the field if you're not producing and you're doing that talking. And this week,
size and strength really reared its ugly head, so to speak, if you're on the other side of the ball over there, and really dominated the line of scrimmage. And that's where, Coach, as well as most of us that follow football, line of scrimmage, that's the trenches, and that's where the ball game's won or lost.
Yeah, same thing, second half, it takes its toll, both physically and mentally on you. I don't know many people, if you hit them in the head with a stick long enough, they won't start moving their head, try to get out of the way, and that's a little bit of what we run into. And another thing, one of the biggest plays in the tournament.
Never positive yard on, I believe it was 82 or 85 yards, and every positive yard on that series you're talking about was Justin Hartsfield all the way.
Right, and Justin, Justin's pretty much known as just being a blocking back, but he can run. He sort of looks like a 57 Chevy in a NASCAR race.
String knotted up, and down he went, and he just fell out to the side, but Kevett's an exciting little back to watch. He's got some great hands. You've got 3 receivers over there that do real good. Talk about them just a little bit, Coach, and what they've contributed to the team this year.
Well, I think if you get the ball close to him, he's going to catch it. Kevett's our deep threat or our speed threat. He's not quite as sure-handed, but when he catches the football, because of his speed, it's a factor. He's got a chance to score every time he's got the football in his hands. And then Danny Morgan plays tight in the secondary. Danny catches the football well. Our problem has been not being able to get the football to him. Justin went through a slump there a couple of weeks where he just didn't have much confidence, and now we feel like after Friday night he's got his confidence back, and last he had an 85-yard touchdown run. You don't get those long runs unless you're getting some great stalk blocking from your wide receivers downfield. keeping the cornerbacks and safeties off for your running backs. And we've had, I don't know really, but probably 10 or 12 touchdown runs of over 60 yards during the year, better during the year at both things. It's just one of those things where we work on fundamentals for every position every day, and our guys have gotten better and better and better throughout the year. And I think right now we're playing as well as we played at any point.
That's right. Okay, let's take a commercial break right.
Fruits and vegetables in the produce department at Foodland in Perry Square Shopping Center. The freshest fruits and vegetables available at Foodland in Perry Square Shopping Center. So if you like it fresh, tonight. And we support the Taylor County High School Bulldogs. We wish them well in the playoffs. CR Repair. Bring it by Hudson's Electronics. Let Leroy fix it at Leroy Hudson's Electronics, US 19 South, just across from Wilson's Bait and Tackle. We've also got TVs and radios for sale, too, at Leroy Hudson.
Hi, my name is Dr. Glenn Boyer. I'm a chiropractic physician. I recently opened an office in Perry, Florida. The address is 1503 South Jefferson Street. The phone number is 584-2224.
Which way but loose, as the old Clint Eastwood movie goes, and the coach over there gambled. He really gambled real big and went for it on 4th and 1 from his own about 38-yard line. I mean, I punt the ball away. I'm not going to take a chance. And Union County went down and fumbled on the 10 with 27.
Beat him at least this way. He had a chance to make a first down and run out the clock. I'm pretty sure I would have punted the ball away also. That's some of that divine intervention. You know, the last 4 minutes of the ball game, Union County fumbled on a 15-yard game in 2A state playoffs. And what they did was about 5 years ago, they went out and got a group of kids, and they started playing together in the 8th grade, and they played together all along. They're really a good football team. They've got to be a good offensive team. They've been averaging 36.
Running ball, do they throw the ball, and size-wise, how do they compare to us? Basically the same size, smaller, or?
Well, if you want to start with the quarterback, it's not a good place to go. Their quarterback's about 6'6" and weighs 240.
Ouch.
He's not very mobile back. They run just a straight fullback give, and they run the wingback counter. You know, that's just about, you know, with the exception of a little power play they run off a pitch. That's about the only thing they do as far as the running game goes, and their passing game is only 3 or 4 pass plays, but they just try to, earlier, they remind me a lot on defensive speed, about like Hamilton County was, and offensively they remind you a lot of Mariana. So we've got our hands full, but we're going to work hard. The guys have worked hard. They will start over with Trinity Christian, but we're just proud to be in the North Region Championship game, and we'll take it as it comes. We're going to try to play well so we can get down to Gainesville and play in the state finals next Friday.
A lot of people talking about going to Gainesville and playing in the state finals, and we can't look beyond this Trinity Christian team. You've got, but it looks like we're not going to get that opportunity. But we need a good crowd out there this Friday night.
Well, Trinity Christian travels extremely well. They had 1,000 people travel with them last week over to Union County. So the coach, I believe maybe this week will finally be the week I'll see it where it's standing room only on both sides. We're going to do some different things. We're going to have 50 cheerleaders on the home side this week. The middle school cheerleaders, the JV cheerleaders, and the varsity cheerleaders are all going to spread out up and down the sideline. We're going to do everything we can to make this as close to a major deal. This, you know, right now, Channel 40 is planning on doing their live 6 and 11 o'clock sports.
To me by a parent last night, sitting and talking to the boys out on the field. Some of the people in one section of the stand bought a lot of milk jugs filled with rocks, just some loose rocks. They make a tremendous amount of noise, and the boys said they like that. They know the fans behind them. That's something to show them.
You know, we'd love for you to come out and be vocal and yell and scream and bark, whatever you feel like you want to do, relieve some of that tension of the week and get our guys excited. But like I've told you all along, this crew's going to be somebody you can be proud of, and I think if we play well and do the things that we need to do, we'll get an opportunity.
And play for a state championship. We're going to take a commercial break right here. We're going to come back and talk about some individual players and potential injuries or problems as such right after these messages.
Dr. Lamar Morgan is happy to Morgan on South Jefferson Street in Perry. For family dentistry, Dr. Lamar Morgan, proud to be a Bulldog supporter. South in Perry. Come on in for a great meal at the Golden Corral for steaks, buffet, and much, much more. The Bulldogs know about it. Now you do too. It's the all-you-can-eat buffet at the Golden Corral, and still a great place for staying.
This is one segment of the broadcast, Coach. It's kind of scary to me. Let's talk a little bit about the players. We got some outstanding plays from the game last week that we want to talk about, maybe individual players, individual honors, offense and defensive player of the game, and the big old bugaboo, the boo-boos.
So, when you take a 6'6", 285-pound defensive end out of a ball game against a team that runs the ball as well as this group does, this means we're going to have to regroup and do as good a job as we can. Last week we had to play without our starting safety. Need to stop. Let me figure that one out.
Wouldn't have to be a lineman, would it?
I don't remember.
Our line played extremely well. We had some good play from, like I say, Justin Hartsfield and all. And we have a tendency to look at those guys like Justin and, he got 85 yards on 3 plays out of 4, and Bear carried once, I think, for negative yards.
He was 3 of 6 for 108 yards, which really loosened up the Bowls defense and got them back where we could open up our running lanes again. The offensive line continues to get better every week, and they work hard, and we
That's my radio broadcast and so on, because if those backs are doing good, they're doing good because the O-line's done their job. Point blank.
Well, we've had some great backs here. You think back to Raphael Williams. He's down at the University of South Florida, and he's leading rusher down there, starting tailback.
He'd been the leading rusher in the Big Bend. I could almost attest to that one by myself.
And you go back, and now we've gone over 3,000 yards rushing for the season. Varian's a big part of that with 1,800 yards. Marquis Jackson's got over 600. If you got a good linebacker that weighs 210 or 220, and you run a 260-pound fullback at him with a 235-pound tailback, and that interference up front's cut down because your offensive line moved those defensive linemen out of the way. They get tired of getting pounded and pounded and pounded. That's size and their strength.
Well, I'd hate to be a 168 or 170-pound cornerback having to tackle a 268-pound fullback or a 238-pound tailback.
Yeah, Bowles had one the other night, stepped up and tried to take Justin Hartsfield on, take him down, and said he had to play pegs. He had to figure out which one went in which hole, but he got all of them back but one.
Well, that's good.
The young man was doing okay. I called on Monday to check on him. He was doing fine, except for he said he had a big gap where that tooth was missing. They were going to have to do some work on him later.
Yeah, I've come up with a special.
Chuckled out of watching him run.
He kind of gallops, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be in the way of that gallop when he come down my way.
I still pick at him. I keep telling him he looks like a 57 Chevrolet pickup in the NASCAR race. He's not real fond of that. He picked up with his blocking. He's done a great job for us.
Coach, have you got anybody else, any boo-boos or anywhere on the team there that we need to talk about, or is that just about cleaning up on injuries and so on?
No, with the exception of Gary, we're in good shape, and we're down the stretch period now. We're pretty healthy. We feel like if we can slip through and get this ball game taken care of Friday night and are fortunate enough to advance next week, we should be at full strength for the state finals.
Well, here's hoping and here's wishing a lot of luck, and Coach, we hope everything goes the way that we
Call us at 584-7438 for an appointment. The new Taxpayer Relief Act of 1997 is said to be the largest tax cut Americans have seen in 16 years. Make sure you get your fair share of these cuts. Call Waters & Company at 584-7... Malden's Collision Clinic is proud to bring playoff football here on TV 69. We support the Taylor County